Hello everyone, Matt from Model Minutes here and welcome back to the workbench for another unboxing. Today I'm taking a look at this, the 1/76 scale duck from Airfix. So join me as I get stuck into this box and see what this kit is like. So I actually picked this one up because I've never actually experienced this kit before, and it was on sale fairly cheaply for £6.99 I think it was in one of those discount supermarkets in the run-up to the holiday season 2024. So I fancied having a go, seeing as it was so cheap. On the front then, we can see that we've got an item code up here of A68226. And on the left, we've got an indication of a single paint scheme. We've got this rather cool artwork of the duck being used on an amphibious landing. And over here, it tells us that this is a gift set. So there are 4 paints, 1 brush, and a little tube of cement included. On the back, we've got our painting instructions with our different colors annotated down the bottom, printed in full color. We've got a length of 125 millimeters, a width of 33, and there are 50 pieces included. It says here that this one is an Operation Overlord in June 1944 example. So rather interestingly, this kit is a bit of an anomaly as far as Airfix kits go. As of a few years ago, we were told that anything that is pre-Hornby, so that's like 2006, would technically only be considered as a vintage classic. It's an older tooling, therefore it could be misleading if it was included in a new boxing, for example. So anything older than that is technically a vintage classic. However, if we come down here, it tells us that this model design and tooling dates from 1966, and this has previously been available as a vintage classic model kit, but for some reason now it's been released again in 2024, but in a standard red boxing. In of itself is a bit of an anomaly as far as the Airfix sort of consistency and branding goes. I imagine that they may have done this in order to have a slightly different kit available as part of these discounted model kits for sale, but it is strange that they went for something which technically should be a vintage classic. Anyway, moving on this edge, we've got the same information we've already seen. We do have a cartograph logo, so the decal should be cartograph. It's a skill level 1, so they say that it's easy to build, but being a 1966 model, I'd probably take that with a little bit of a pinch of salt. It's not exactly a starter set. And then on this other edge here, we've got some safety warning information. On the thin edges, it's just the same that we've seen previously. And over here on this side, it tells us that the parts were made in the UK and India, so it's a bit of a mix of different things. But yeah, interesting model to have. So we'll get inside the box, see what there is. All right, so as we can expect, we've got our instructions, but we'll look at those second, I think. Normally I look at them first. So as it's a starter set, or actually technically a gift set, we've got a brush. This is a number 2. I don't normally have any issues with the paintbrushes from Humbrol. This one does look a little tatty. It's not as good looking as other brushes I've had from them, but I think that should be okay to use. And then we have our bag of paints. So we'll open that, have a look. We've got a black paint, which is 33. Let's check that it's all good inside. Yep, that's nice and wet, so that's usable. And then we've got what else have we got here? We've got 2 more. 86. Which is like a olivey kind of color. That's good and wet in there, so that's nice, that's usable. There was a period where the Humbrol paint pots had a slight design flaw. 53, that's like a metallic. I can't remember if it's gunmetal or if it's aluminium. I think it's gunmetal. That one's very wet. But yeah, so there was a design flaw with the Humbrol paint pots, and they weren't closing properly, and there was a small air gap, and it was causing the paints to dry out. But it looks like they fixed that, because all of these paint pots, they're a slightly different design to what we normally have, and they are all wet, so that's good. Paints are all usable. Little tube of cement. Sometimes I find the glue gets stuck to the lid, but that's fine. That's all good. If you want to use this, of course. This one's more like a gel. It's not the best cement in the world, but it works. Accessories are fine. So now, 1/76 gift set duck. A bit of information about it, some multiple languages here, and a bit of information about washing your sprues, which you may need to do given the age of the tooling. A few hints and tips over here, key to the different symbols as is expected. And then we get to our sort of first steps. Now, if you were a new modeler, you might think that all Airfix kits are going to be like this, and they're not. Far from it. These instructions are a little bit cluttered. They're not printed in color, which more modern versions are. So what we do in here, we're building up the sort of hull of our vehicle. We've got our crew figure. We do have options whether we want to include these blanking plates over the wheels or not. Then we come on down and we can glue in our wheels onto the axles, and the axles get glued into place, and also the propeller shaft and the rudder. Flipping over to page 3 or step 3, we can add our, what is this, like a tarpaulin or canvas roof. There are support struts, there's a machine gun and a mounting ring. There's other small details which need to go on, like a winch and a spare tire. And then we get to our painting instructions here at step 4, I think. So these are the decal placement instructions, but we have those as well on the back. But I guess on here, this tells you just about this side, which in here, this also shows you the rear of the vehicle. And there was another page. And what's on the other page? Oh, no, it's just more information in different languages. Contents list, advice for adults, safety rules. Yeah, so nothing instructions diagram-wise. So yeah, that's it. I think what this symbol here means is repeat it on the other side. So that one and that one goes on the other side as well. A bit cluttered based on the old instructions, so not necessarily up to the modern standard we expect from Airfix. Decals, though, being printed by Cartograph, should be absolutely top notch. Here they are, one little tiny sheet. We've got a Allied sort of roundel here, printed in white. We've got our sort of registration markings as well, all printed to a very nice quality, nice and legible, no rips, no tears, no cracking, and the registration, so where everything lines up, is pretty good. Nothing seems to be off center or out of alignment, so that's pretty nice. And then finally, that brings us on to the plastic parts in this bag here. So let's get that open. And there is a clear part included, which is for our windscreen, which is, the bag is sort of melted to the other bag. So I'll just make a hole here. There we go. So we'll look at the clear part then. So this is for our windscreen. As to be expected, the sort of standard from these vintage classic kits, it's a little bit tatty. There are some scuffs and scratches on it, a little bit of flash. The sort of windscreen panels are molded very subtly. So you could paint them by hand if you wanted to, or mask them if you're airbrushing or the like. And we also have what appear to be the headlights. They are okay as well, but again, we'll need a little bit of tidying up in order to use them. And then we're on to the rest of the parts, and these are molded in the dark grey plastic that is quite typical from current Airfix offerings. Quite a few bits and pieces which are loose. So we've got our main body of our vehicle, and then a few little almost like sticks with the rest of the parts on. So we'll have a look at this one first. This has parts for the upper of the hull. The plastic is a little hard, it's a little dense, and it does feel a little greasy. It does feel as though there's some mold release on there, which may need cleaning off. These look like the hubs for the wheels. Mold quality is okay. There are some scuffs and blemishes on the parts from the molding being so old, and some of the molded details are a little crude. They're not, as refined as you would expect today. Ejector pin marks are quite present on this side, and you can see that even the ejector pin marks here on this part have got some molded in dirt, which is the discoloration there. Moving on to another one then, we have our wheels. They look to be molded to a moderately good quality. There is a slight mold seam down the edges of them, however, which may need a little bit of cleanup. And then we've got our, I think this is the canvas. No, it's not the canvas top, because the canvas top's there. So this is like the main hull part, main body. What's this bit for? Let's have a look. Yeah, so it's like the main body. So I'm actually holding it upside down. It goes that way up. So it's like where you would put all your troops and things. So let's put that one over there. Now we can have a look at our canvas top. That's not too bad. It has the sort of rib marks on it where it would be supported by the framework. And then we also have elements of the chassis. Again, some ejector pin marks on here, a little bit frustrating, but you know, product of its time. And then let's have a look at this other one. So we've got our small part sprue, steering wheel, winch assembly, big ejector pin marks on those, which may need filling in if it's visible on the model. Propeller, other small details. We have a machine gun here, a little bit crude. You know, if you've got something in the spares box which looks a little bit more refined, it might be worth using that rather than this one. And then we've got our crew figure or our driver. He's got a bit of flash on him, which will need cleaning up. You know, I've seen worse figures. They generally did an okay job of the Airfix figures back in the day. You probably could replace them with a slightly more refined one. Got a big ejector pin mark in his back, but you might not be able to see that. Yeah, so those are those parts. All that's left are the sides of the hull. A massive bit of a sprue gate on that bit, which will need to be cleaned away. You can see on the inside here that, you know, they don't always look too carefully after the molds, so there's big scratches and things on the inside. Not so bad on the inside, but if it was on the outside I'd be much more annoyed. But it just goes to show the amount of care that has been taken over the years with these toolings. And this one, for example, you can see there's like dents or pock marks. I don't know why that would have occurred, but it, you know, is it from a lack of care and attention? And then the final one is the main body, which is molded to a fairly all right quality. We've got a bit of flash in a few places. We've got the sprue gate where it was obviously connected to the main runner, a little bit carelessly removed, but not as bad as some of the other vintage kits that I've seen. But again, we've got some strange artifacts on the inside. Not a big problem on the inside because it's not going to be seen, but again, it just sort of stems to the fact, the sort of level of care that is taken with these toolings. They're not as well looked after as the more modern ones. But yeah, that's pretty much that. I think it'll build up into a reasonable kit. I think what we can probably say here is that for the sake of about £7, it's not a bad kit because it's fairly cheap. And not only is it £7 and you're getting, you know, a vehicle. It's not a tiny vehicle, but it's not massive. You've got a crew figure in there as well, which adds a little bit of diorama sort of possibilities. We've got cartograph decals as well, which are some of the best quality ones, which are really nice. Instructions are okay. We've got color painting instructions though, which makes things a little bit less ambiguous, but also the added value that we've got some accessories included, all for the summary price of £7 that I paid for it. So now this comes to that slight thing about it being an anomaly. For £7, I don't think this kit is too bad. I think that when this was available as a standard boxing without the paints and cements, when it was actually part of the Vintage Classics range back in 2019, I don't know what the price was, but I would imagine that it probably was at least £7, but didn't come with these paints and glues, etc. So actually you're getting a better value one if that is the case. The thing that I do have the slight concern with is that this isn't annotated as a vintage classic. I think maybe they could have done that for the sake of, you know, consistency, so that someone bought it in the shop, they'd know, oh, this isn't going to necessarily be a new tooling. Because bearing in mind, this is in the shop alongside kits like the 2010 Spitfire, the BF-109, the Tomahawk, which are all, you know, considerably better toolings compared to a 1966. So if you, for example, bought this for a family member who's never built a model before, give them this one, they'd think this is absolutely nowhere near the same level of quality as, like, I know the Spitfire is a little bit old now, something of that era. So I think that perhaps they could have gone and said this was a Vintage Classics, even though they've put it down as a gift set. Vintage Classic gift set. So yeah, bit of a strange one, bit of an anomaly, doesn't quite fall into the rules that Airfix have set out for themselves. But if you know these sort of things and you know what you're kind of expecting inside the box, I think £7 for what you've got here is a reasonable price. But as mentioned, my only concern would be someone who is new to modelling and this being their first experience. I think though it's probably time to leave this one here. Let me know down in the comments what you think of my review of this kit and if my assessment of it was fair. As always, quick shout out to my Model Club members for the extra support they give the channel. A massive thanks to these guys on screen. If you'd like to join them, take a look at the links in the description, and there's also other ways to help support the channel, and again, full information is under the video. The best way to support the channel for free though is by subscribing with notifications turned on so you never miss a modelling upload. Finally though, last thing to say is a massive thank you to you for watching this one, and I'll see you again on the workbench next time.